Night Vision. Following clues left by our ancestors, we unbury the past to reveal a knowledge of unfathomable value, putting us just a little closer to our own true birthrights. From the secret history of a possible bloodline of Jesus Christ, the secret history of America's founders, to the secret history of extraterrestrial interaction on our planet, here to bring light to the night. Your host for Night Vision Radio, Renee Barnett.
Hey everyone, how are you? Hope you had a decent week this week. It's crazy out there, so I'm glad you could join us tonight for a little talk, a little conversation, some spooky stories from current times and from ancient times, because we're going to be delving into the paranormal past and present, and maybe future. And also at the top of the second hour, we got a couple of special guests coming on. You will not want to miss them. And we may talk a little bit about them the first hour, but we may just make you wait altogether. Anyhow, before I go any further, let me introduce and bring back to you our very, very favorite, James Martin. He's our history guy here at Night Vision. He knows all the poop. And as I've often said, he's like my own encyclopedia. All I have to do is call James and he can tell me the answer. And if he doesn't know it, he'll find it. But anyhow, how are you? It's been a while.
Well. It has, hasn't it?
Feels like a long time.
Good evening, everyone. It has been a while.
You've been out traveling and doing your little thing over there and in Europe, traveling around.
Traveling around, yes, plenty of sites. I'm looking to some old Templar sites and usual stuff.
Usual stuff. Well, tonight, as you know, I wanted to talk a little bit about your work with the Worsley Paranormal Group in the UK. Now, that group, I know, it's headed up by Erica Gregory. Is that correct?
Yes.
And who has some amazing things. If you guys haven't seen her Facebook page, look at Worsley Paranormal, and you'll find her page. And she has some EVP clips, video clips, and other things like that you might find of interest as she goes around and investigates some of the world's most haunted sites, which all seem to be located in the UK. But also, she was very involved in trying to help find evidence for the children's burials on the moors, the Moors murderers, the Ian Brady, Myra Hindley murders that are so notorious. And I think they're both dead now, aren't they? I know Myra Hindley died a couple of years ago, but they were sort of the scourge of England for a time, and little children were disappearing and being attacked and buried on the moors. So Erica was really key in actually digging up some real evidence on the moors from that case, and it's been in the newspapers and all that. But can you tell us, James, a little bit about Erica and the group and what it is that they do, and maybe we can talk you into sharing a couple of scary experiences?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a topic I get asked about too often, to be honest. But the group's been going since the early 2000s, and really with a sort of mission to look for evidence, evidence guide, and that involved, of course, the usual bits of equipment, the EVPs, temperature sensors, things like this, in investigations of hundreds at least different sites, locations, including people's houses. And Erica established this group really with family and friends initially. And the one thing about the group that is certainly different, and I remember when the group was first started, there weren't that many paranormal groups out there, to be fair. The ones that were very large, used to charge quite a bit of money. The Worsley Paranormal, so Worsley is Worsley, but the Worsley Paranormal Group is not for profit. So, if there's a cost to go on a investigation for anyone who wants to, the proceeds go to the venue if they've requested. Because one thing about paranormal investigations, I mean, it's always puzzled me why we do them at night time. The ghosts obviously must sleep during the day, I don't know. But for a lot of sites and a lot of venues, you've got staff who work there who are working overtime. So it's fair for them to get paid. So it's not for profit, and I've been involved with the group for some time. Moving out of the area has limited my involvement, but I remain a supporter. And Erica, how can I describe Erica? I know that she will be listening and watching.
You will be.
Erica, I better not say anything bad. No, Erica is one of the nicest people you could meet. Really salt of the earth, and has used some, if not controversial, unusual methods in her own personal investigations, and as you've mentioned with the Moors murders.
When you're talking about unusual methods, are you talking about in terms of like psychic abilities and that sort of thing?
The group tends to stay away from the psychic side of things, but for example, steam divination. I mean, this was something that I've never heard of. I was immensely skeptical. But Erica, if you have a look on the Facebook group, or you have a look in the press, you can see some of these, anything from kettle steam to boiling water in pans, things like this. Messages, images, things like this have come through for Erica. And as I say, I will confess, I was initially very skeptical, but when the fines started on Saddleworth Moors, so I'll just explain very briefly. The Moors murders, as they're known, it involved, yes, we've mentioned Dean Brady and Myra Hindley. These are names that in the UK, they're household names. What they did to a number of kids is just absolutely appalling. But and I don't wish to go into that, just out of respect for family members who are still around. But I remember growing up myself. The effects of the Moors murders were that you don't go out at night time as a kid. There's a real sense of worry and danger. And the area
that really didn't happen before. It really didn't exist before. I mean, people were quite free, to walk around. The kids would go out and play in the street and things like that. But things changed a lot after the Moors murders.
They did, and it was it was sort of for me personally, it was sort of the sort of boogeyman kind of thing.
Yeah,
but they were real.
Yes.
And so with that, I mean, Erica wrote a book called The Secret Key to the Moors Murders, and I know that you've read this, and there's some very interesting ideas in there. Erica had read James Joyce, Ulysses, had looked at various Roman sites, a hell of a lot of reading that went into that book to try and get into the head, essentially, of Ian Brady. who, how could you commit such hideous crimes? And I think that she's on something. And I won't spoil the book or anything like this, but it outlines a very ritualistic series of murders in a place that the area of Saddleworth Moors, just from a historical perspective, it is and has been known to, for example, the tribe known as the Brigantes wouldn't go near the area. They said that it was it was a place of spirits and of bad spirits, and you've got the Black Moors and all of this. And it is a very bleak area. Some might say that bleak.
Very, very Wuthering Heights,
Yeah. Ish,
I mean,
yes.
what the, when they talk about the Moors, even before I knew about the Moors murders, there was always a sense of foreboding about that. And they seem so bleak and barren. There's no trees there or nothing. They're just, kind of rocky land for the most part. Isn't that right?
It is. Not much grows there. I've just seen a question was just coming into this. The Moors murders took place in the early 1960s.
Yeah.
So between, I think, 1963 and 65. I wasn't born anywhere near that period, but if you imagine an event so
you don't
shocking.
Have to brag. You don't have to brag.
Just saying that it really had a long-standing effect in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And some of the victims have been missing for quite some time, and that's where Erica, with her, use of the paranormal, as I've said, with ranging from steam divination, etc., has found particular clues on the Moors, and that was in her book. The Moors murders took place in the northwest of England, close to the largest city. It's closest to is Manchester, which is where I grew up.
Yeah.
And not too far away from where Erica's based as well.
Yeah. I tell you, I can imagine growing up in that area, even though it was before you were born. It wasn't that long before you were born. So I could imagine the repercussions, were still being felt very strongly. And in some ways, I think it changed things forever there. Just as some of the, similar heinous crimes in the United States have done in certain places that you never would have expected such hideous and horrible things to happen.
I mean, there was the thing that shocked Britain was the fact that how could a woman do this?
Yes.
That was the headline. Well, that's it, and it was. There were some very unusual things. Whenever Brady and Hindley weren't in a relationship or anything like that, but whenever they took pictures of each other, they would always carry a dog above their head. There were lots of very strange, ritualistic things that they got up to. But yeah, in trying to find the Keith Bennett, he was missing. This has been Erica, and it came ultimately from some investigations that we'd done originally. So I think at Oldsoul Hall, which is in Salford, really close to the city centre of Manchester, there was messages that were coming through voice recording that had nothing to do with Oldsoul Hall or with the history of that place, but they did have something to do with the Moors murders, and that I think led Erica further. And as I say, with the group, we've investigated many places and found some very unusual and very exciting things.
Now, in terms of the Moors murders and Erica, she actually found some bits of evidence, some items on the Moors that seem to be tied to the Moors murders or to Ian Brady and Myra Hindley. Do you recall what those were, or could you?
I most certainly do. Yes, I saw them firsthand. One was a spade with no handle on it. That was or a shovel with no handle of it. That was really what Brady. I can't tell you why it was that he did that, but what he took the handle off. There were certain other things, for example, some remains, shall we say, that had been spotted in the vicinity of the Moors. There were things like that that were found. Yeah.
Right. I mean, so significant that they actually ended up being featured in newspaper reports in London and around the country.
Yeah, I mean, it hit national press on several occasions. It's difficult for me to talk about in a way because I'm very conscious of living family members, for example.
Yes.
But it's
well, I know.
Yes, there are items found, and
I know that for a long time, Erica wouldn't speak, or I don't think she even released her book until after Keith's mother had passed. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah, just out of respect for her, because she was,
And this is one of the key things, and this it really tells quite a lot of Erica's character. Items were found. The police ended up investigating. There were certainly leads into the case, but if you imagine, you're a mother who's lost their child to these murderers, and you then have, and I just say, with every bit of respect in the world, for a lot of people, finding a paranormal group or someone interested in the paranormal investigating these matters. For some, it was considered as ridiculous, but I have to say to everyone, right on the mark. I mean, right on the mark where Erica thought there was going to be some items, there were. And whether that's come through spiritual communication or whatever, these items have been found. They are well documented. And yes, it did cause a bit of a press sensation on a few occasions. I mean, we used to live in the same town, so having the country's media descend on the town was unusual to say the least. But
yeah,
yes.
Oh, that's just crazy. So you mentioned Oxel Hall, and how did that tie in with the Morse murders? And I know you had some scary experiences there, which I want to hear about. But how did that seem to be associated? Because I'm not aware of that connection.
Well, it was more that we were doing EVP, and like I say, I'm sure it was also where something else was
that's where the EVP was.
Yeah,
and it made sense in terms of that story, in terms of the Morse murder. Oh, I get it.
So things were coming through, which is really frustrating when you're looking for members of the Radcliffe family to come and speak to us, things like this. And no, whomever it was only wanting to really speak to Erica. It's almost as if, you're the person that we need to speak to. And that's certainly been the case over the past few, decades now, I suppose. Erica is channeling. I mean, I think Erica would describe herself perhaps as sensitive, but not a psychic or a medium or anything like that. Really just an investigator, someone who's got a real interest in all things paranormal.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how she characterizes herself. I know she's a paranormal investigator, but I did not know whether she, was a psychic, or I know she does, like you said, she gets messages. Now, you were talking about the steam divination. Like, can you tell me a bit about how that works? And if you know what it was that she received, didn't she get some messages either from or regarding Ian Brady?
Yeah. So with the steam divination, I mean, in terms of the specific messages, I mean, that's for Erica, but it's supposed to be.
Just describe how it is. I mean, I'm trying to figure out, do they see something in the steam smoke, or is it just something that she senses, or how does it work?
So there's two things really. I mean, first thing to say, when we look at clouds, how many of us say, "Oh, look that," we can see, is that Florida there in the clouds, or oh, that looks like such and such.
Sure.
So it's sort of on that same principle. Essentially, you have water and it boils, and you might see an image in the steam arising from the water or within the pan itself. Now, that can be aided with taking rapid pictures of the steam as it begins to evaporate. And it's perhaps with those pictures that you begin to look at faces, items, objects, etc.
Okay.
But it's not just that. It's you've then coupled that up, or Erica's coupled that up with the use of EVP. So asking questions aloud whilst undertaking this and recording to see if there's been any responses. And there's been quite a few responses, I have to say.
Do you feel like that the responses were somehow aided, or facilitated by what she was doing with the steam? It almost seems like it, like going through the process, sort of helped.
Yeah, there is. You try desperately to use as many mediums as possible, because if there is an afterlife and there is ghosts trying to communicate, it might be more challenging for them to communicate with us, for example. So offering as many different avenues. So it could be manipulation of the steam. You can't rule out equally that it might be not just the steam. You can't rule out that it's just random steam images. A random bell now. Messages coming through, perhaps from the other side. But yes, taking pictures of the steam, to see whether or not a ghost or something like this is manipulating it. Equally in water. I mean, societies have been doing this for a long time. You've got people who read tea leaves, for example. Coffee now, I understand. So there's lots of different ways, but in essence, that's what we're looking at. It's no different if we look at clouds. Clouds are essentially bits of steam, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Live broadcasting at its best. I'm just been notified of an issue I have here at the house, but I wonder if James, I could ask you. It's just simply that one of my kids is locked out, and they're standing on the porch, and they can't get in. So I need to go let them in, and either we can take a quick break, or James, could I ask you to share with the audience what you told me about the experience at Odds Hall, and share some of those images I think you may have put up. But before I go, I want to show a picture of Ian Brady and Myra Hindley that I've been frantically looking for. It's a very, very famous set of photos that was blasted out over the press during that time. But if you would, James, could you share those experiences with our audience?
Yeah, of course.
Exit stage left.
Stage left. Yes, of course. Well, first thing to say is if anyone's ever undertaken a paranormal investigation or is thinking of going to, a ghost hunt or something like this, it can be a bit nerve-wracking, I have to say. So you might think that, oh, what if I bring something back? Or what if I don't see anything? Or what if I do? How will I react? So it can be a little bit nerve-wracking. And my advice is bite the bullet and go. And for me, I went through all of this. Age 15, 16, first investigation of mine with the new Worsley Paranormal group. And our first destination was over to Ordsall Hall. Now, Ordsall Hall is, and if, for those who are watching the broadcast, you can see an image just there of Ordsall Hall. It's a Tudor building, but its foundations go further back to the 12th, 13th century.
What?
And, oh, Renee, you're back. And, yeah, so lots of nerves. What am I going to see? What do you do? How do you protect yourself? What questions do you ask? Or if you're me with an interest in history, what can I see that's behind the rope? What can I see that the visitor doesn't get to see? That kind of stuff. And I was in a priest hole, although I didn't quite realise it at the time. Essentially, Ordsall Hall was owned by a Catholic family, and during the Elizabethan period, it was important if you were Catholic to not let out that you're Catholic for fear of being invited to the church barbecue. It's just you'd be the principal item on the menu. And they had priest holes, essentially areas in which priests could hide. And one such place, there are lots of them at Ordsall Hall and many of the other halls across England, I have to say. But one of them was just off the side of a kitchen, this huge kitchen. This is a stately hall at the end of the day. So you had a pantry, and it was just behind the pantry, this sort of hidden corridor, if you will, this hidden sort of passage, is the word I was looking for. And again, for those who are watching the broadcast, you can see an image that I took with a very strange squiggle coming out of it, but that's where people are hiding. It's very narrow, very confined, and sometimes Catholic priests or Catholic worshippers would hide in there for hours while Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth's investigators and spy masters, the Cecils, for example, would come and look around the house. So, again, for those watching, you can see an image of a much younger me and just how cramped an environment it really is. And I decided that it was a good idea to shout out. And by shouting out, I mean, come on, show yourself, because I thought that was what you meant to do. Trust me, that's not the approach I take anymore. And yeah, after a bit of shouting out, I think I'd irritated other people who were in the corridor with me, because what then happened was a face lunged right at me. And as it lunged at me, I jumped back with some force and started to scream very loudly, as you would. I have to say my original disbelief and skepticism sort of left me at that point as well. But plenty of other stories like that. But that was my first investigation.
That's good. So did you leave, or what happened after that?
I certainly got out of the priest hole pretty quickly. In fact, you could have entered me for a Olympic running event. I was out of there so quickly. But after a coffee and all of this, you begin to get to know the building. And so Ordsall Hall, I've returned to many times. But yes, and I even went back into the priest hall to take the pictures I've just shown. But yeah, just again repeating for those first going out on a paranormal investigation, the chances are you won't see anything. I can't.
Well,
I can't.
I thought you were going to say for those who are first going out on your investigation, don't yell at the spirits.
I think, I mean, from experience, I've had, this was an EVP, this was one of the creepiest moments I've ever experienced, and this was at Hyde Town Hall with the group, and we do have some EVPs. I think they're on the Paranormal website, Wesley Paranormal Group website. But
we're going to have Erica come on in a future show, and we will definitely incorporate some of those EVPs and other videos that she has as well. So that'll be something for everybody to look forward to. And of course, she'll be back when she's on to help walk us through it.
Absolutely. This EVP, though, if I screamed at Ordsall, just bear in mind that other things can scream as well. And what we heard, that this was recorded on the EVP, but we heard it. There was, I think, we'd split into groups, and my group had sort of me and maybe 8 other people. Was Ring a Roses, Pocket
Oh no!
Roses. Yeah, and that, I mean, the hairs on my arms have just gone up just with that. But that was probably one of the really creepiest, and then there were other things like London bridges falling down, and all of that being hummed, and we got this on the EVP, and not just that, but we also got some very interesting replies too.
Now, did you hear any of that in the room, or was this all on playback?
No, we heard that.
Oh my gosh.
And it was picked up also on the EVP.
Now,
that was really creepy.
Why is it that it's so much scarier to me to hear something like "Ring around the rosy" than it is like for a monster or something? You know what I mean? There's something really creepy about a nursery rhyme or a child's voice or, something like that even creeps me out even worse than, some like demon or something that people are talking about. It just...
I think the table tipping that we did at that event as well, we started to sing.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the story.
We started to sing, and the table flipped, and this was quite a heavy table. How can I put it? You begin to get a little bit of a tough and a bit of a thick skin, when you're wandering around dark places that have reports of haunting.
I guess you get used to anything.
There are some things you don't. Pendle Hill would be another one with the Pendle Witches.
Right.
That was terrifying, I have to say, because those people who were around a table doing glass divination, and all of this, were dropping like flies. Feeling violently ill, and it was alleged that one of the Pendle Witches was doing this. For me, it was when the glass started doing a figure of 8, and the sound of the glass doing that, I still can't quite get out of my head. But the glass, I absolutely swear to you all, the glass lifted up and flung itself off the table. And this was in some, 16th, 17th century barn that was associated with the Pendle Witches. And the Pendle Witches were from Lancashire, in northern England, and they were sentenced to trial. A lot of them, Elizabeth Demdike was sent to trial after the testimony of her own daughter, who was about 8 years old. Really quite bad, but, were they witches or were they innocent? Well, that's, I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave that one with you. But that was most certainly one of the most frightening experiences. Yeah.
It's so interesting, because it seems like England seems to be so haunted, and of course you've got all the old castles and other structures and things and locations that we don't have here really, and so I always assume that that's the reason. But really, uh, throughout time, there have been reports of paranormal activity of one kind or another, from ghosts to demons to UFOs, even. And I mean, we see it in art and literature, and it's people have always, been fascinated by the unknown, and it seems like people have always been visited, by one kind of paranormal event or another. So,
Well,
what do you?
I can tie in with history with this, but just before we do,
Yeah.
I'm going to mention something that
Oh.
I've been toying with whether or not to talk about, and I'm sure your listeners will have heard of Shadow Man or Hat
Yeah.
Man.
Uh-huh.
So I'll tell you a very quick story. This also happened at Old Hall. There was an aggressive medium, Ian Lawman, who is known for being on TV and investigating, and he was at one investigation. Again, this was at Old Hall. And I had a dream, but also kind of saw this huge face looking down at me from above the hole. This was dream, but also I got this idea. The last time I'd been there, someone who claimed psychic experience and as a medium had said, "Oh, this priest doesn't like you, and he's the one responsible for pushing someone off stairs, killing her. But he doesn't like you, and he doesn't like your sexual orientation, doesn't like your beliefs, doesn't like you. I'd be careful of him." And she said she did some drawing of him hiding his face. For those who undertake paranormal investigations, if any of you get the figure of 8 or something hiding their face, I'd leave relatively quickly. It's not a good sign. So it was about 6 months later.
So a figure 8 and
Yeah.
someone hiding their face. Those are things to look out for as being sort of a negative
Absolutely.
sign. Okay.
And 6 months later, roughly, I'm back in, I think it's the November. So we've just had Halloween, and in the UK, we've got Guy Fawkes night. Guy Fawkes allegedly was at Ordsall. But anyway, subject for another show, I think. But Ian Lawman had really been winding up a lot of the spirits there. And I had pins and needles throughout my entire body up to my face. So if you imagine, my eyebrows had pins and needles, my ears did. And the only bit of my body that didn't was sort of like this round bit of my face, my nose, lips, and what have you. And I was sat doing we were in a sort of circle, and I think I've got an image. There we are, back in, it was February, and it was cold. But
that's you right in front, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're in, you can see there's some orbs in this image, and
Who was covering their face?
Whoever it was in the picture, I'm not too sure. I think they were just rubbing their eyes, to be fair.
Oh! I thought they were doing.
It was doing an impression. Well,
Yeah.
Actually, other people in the room were wanting to lash out at me, and I hadn't said anything. I was really struggling with. We were actually trying to stay awake, to be honest with you. Ian Lawman came in and told whatever it was to go away. And I came sort of back to it. The pins and needles have vanished immediately, but I was left with a bit of an imprint as to what this thing wanted to do to everyone. And that really, really wasn't pleasant. Now, that person is one of the key reasons that I don't talk about shadow men. I'm just going to show everyone, and I've been toying with this notion.
Oh boy!
I am going to show everyone some images that we found later on that day. So I know we've spoke quite a bit about Ordsall Hall, but Ordsall, Smithills Hall, where we potentially helped find a Templar site, if you must know. We ended up in the press for that, but again, another story. I had the impression that I was being stalked by a shadow, and out the corner of my eye, it looked like someone wearing a hat. But there we go. And this was verified. Ordsall Hall and Smithills Hall, various other places in the UK, have a ghost cam. And you can still visit the ghost cam now if you wish, and spend all night looking for things. Shortly after we'd left, though, I started to have a quick look. So, unfortunately, for those who are listening, I'm just going to have to describe. For those who are watching on YouTube, if you have a look in the doorway, which is to the center far right of the image, and you can see the timestamp, just note what happens in the doorway. So for those who are listening, there's there's an open door just down some steps from a globe. There's no one in the building.
Okay, so we're looking by the globe.
We're looking by the globe, yes. Okay. And I've just moved to the next still, and I'm just going to go back, and now you can see there is a black shadow right above the globe, with, for me, what looks like sort of habit, a hood hiding. The third image, you can see that it moves, and I've got all of the stills, but I'm just going to show you these three.
Okay.
So again, I'm going to click through.
That's the first one. Okay. Second one. Oh, okay. Now I'm getting the. Oh, yeah. Well, it was something.
It certainly was. That, by the way, was the room in which I'd had the experience. I have been very cautious of shadowy figures like that, and I don't really like talking about them.
Right.
But
well, a lot of people say when you do, you sort of call them to you if you give them attention or speak with them. So
this was it. And if you recall a few shows ago, where I'd asked a very dear friend to translate some Arabic texts.
Yes. A spell book. Yeah.
Long story cut short, when I had a discussion around this and showed those pictures, they suggested they're not shadow people, they're jinn.
Yeah.
And that is the tie-in to history. We have a lot of, we have all throughout human history, lots of evidence of paranormal activity. And whether it's ghosts, vampires, aliens, whatever else it might be, there's certain things that can't be explained. They're not normal, they're paranormal, but they've littered human history. One such bit about history is a ghost that we found at Turton Tower. We ended up in the press. Turton Tower is a very old place, but we ended up in the press after I think Erica had gone outside, having seen a shadowy figure, and used the thermal camera to find this.
Now, is that bright green something?
Yes, and I think from Erica's perspective, the bright green thing was moving. Again, this is just a still. One of the problems we don't have in the video. It's just a still.
Now, is that on the ground or is that above the ground?
My take would be whatever it is. I mean, there isn't anyone in the grounds, I should say. But anyway, this was on the ground. This is walking in an area that one of the so-called white ladies, grey ladies, and all of this have been spotted.
One of those ladies.
Yeah.
Wild. Speaking of those, hats and priests and things like that, you reminded me of something that happened to me. I'm always saying, nothing ever happens to me, nothing ever happens to me. But I think a lot of times things happen and I forget, or I just don't think, oh, it's nothing special. Nothing ever happens to me. So I'll explain it away. But one time when I had absolutely just returned from France, and I was on a radio station here in Los Angeles. It's been a number of years ago. And I had been over and spent a lot of time in Rennes-le-Chateau and, on the Rennes-le-Chateau mystery. This was before I even knew you. And when I was waiting in the outer, area, the waiting room, waiting to go on my show, there were two different studios there. So they were broadcasting simultaneously. Well, the woman that was in the other studio came in to do her show. And she said, hey, she said, you brought something back from France with you. I said, what are you talking about? She says, I saw this guy, and she said, he's walking up and down in front of the radio station like he's really kind of pissed off, like he's frustrated or something. He's just walking back and forth. And she says, I knew it had something to do with you. And she said, he's got on this funny hat, though. And so I was thinking, what is this? So I showed her a picture of the, Béranger Saunière, the Abbé. And remember the weird hats that you've seen a few pictures of them?
Yeah.
And she says, that's him, that's him. And this is someone who is not involved at all, in the French, research or Rennes-le-Chateau history or anything like that. And I just thought that was really wild because she said, there's some guy, walking around and get this long coat on and he seems to be really frustrated with you. She said, but you brought him back with you.
It's strange, really, because when it comes to the paranormal side of things, there are particular themes that, I mean, I've done investigations in France and across the UK. Argyll, for example, Skipness Castle. I just wouldn't go in there. It was really not pleasant.
What's that? Skipness?
Skipness Castle.
Skipness.
Later found out some of my ancestors from Clan Macmillan weren't welcome in that castle, but anyhow. But
were they necromancers like my relatives?
No, but they were witches, I suppose. But there we go. The strange thing is, you get the depiction of the white figure. Which white is, the purest of light and all of this, and it's often when we see something, it's usually in white light. Then when you look at the dark side of things, it's often to do with hoods or hats or faces emerging from the darkness. It's strange that you pick up these stories. I mean, I just wanted to mention there's a philosopher, Immanuel Kant, who says the following. He says, ghost stories are always listened to and well received in private, but pitilessly disavowed in public. For my own part, ignorant as I am of the way in which the human spirit enters the world and the way in which he goes out of it, I dare not deny the truth of many such narratives. And you think about that, it's not often you get to quote Kant, is it? But when you think about that, that is what we do. We, as a species for over time, we have always discussed ghost stories. We love doing it on the approach to Halloween. Let me tell you this story. But here's the thing, I will always look at evidence and facts first. I tend not to take for granted people's experiences. I will always want to look for where's this grounded in evidence.
Right.
And yet, some very serious people, very serious academics, very serious, who publicly have shrugged their shoulders when discussing things like UFOs or evidence of ghosts or anything like that. But privately,
yeah,
they'll engage with some of the very strange stories that they've experienced.
yeah.
Why do we do that?
Because people have been ridiculed, especially like in the UFO field. It was like, they made it look like it was some dumb drunk farmer or something, who saw something in the sky. But, when enough of us have had enough experiences, and it is people from all walks of life. Including in, cryptozoology and everything. I remember when, I was doing the Bigfoot investigation and documentary, we had doctors, we had nurses, we had bankers, we had teachers, we had truck drivers. We had all kinds of people who told us very detailed stories. And most of these people had to be really cajoled into telling their story because they didn't want the ridicule that was behind it. And that I know there was one coach, football and track coach that had this up close and personal experience with a Bigfoot, and where he actually came literally face to face with him.
I don't know what it's like in American schools, but do you read Shakespeare?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Well, Shakespeare, Hamlet, isn't all about the ghosts? The father's the ghost, isn't, and all of this. So we accept it in literature all over the show. And yet we have to dismiss, that's
okay, fantasy. Because that's, sort of fantastical.
We're approaching Christmas, Renee. Right. Do I have to mention Scrooge?
No, the ghost.
The ghost of Christmas present, past, and but that's okay. That's different. I've been scouring the historical record.
People tell themselves, "Oh, it's just a story." And even as I said, I have been one of the main ones who is guilty constantly of talking myself out of experiences, of analyzing it, trying to figure out, rational reason. And then even if I can't, I still think, oh, that was just a fluke, or something. But I'm going to try to stop doing that and try to pay more attention. Because if I really thought about it over my lifetime, which is quite lengthy, don't say a word, I have had, many experiences, nothing like earth-shattering, but certainly, pretty poignant. But I've always managed to say, oh, nothing ever happens to me. And then I'll think, well, what about that time? What about this time? Oh, that was probably nothing. But I think that I feel like there's a lot going on that if people are anything at all like me, which I don't encourage, they're missing them. Because you do kind of not have a way to compute what you're seeing or hearing. Your mind just kind of passes over it and rejects it.
Well, that's it. And the thing is, I've been scouring history for the first bit of documented experiences with the paranormal. And the discussions back at ancient Egypt, by the way, where there was description from around 1500 BC of fiery discs in the sky. This wasn't, people weren't laughed at for that. This was perfectly, acceptable. What is this? It's not to say that because we don't know the answer to something that we should just dismiss someone for raising the issue. No, we just don't know the answer. What we've seen or experienced, we don't have an answer for it yet.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But, we do have, I think the human mind does kind of work that way. If you don't have a way to figure what that experience is, like you've got no experience in that, or it's something that's absolutely foreign, you kind of just pass over. Your mind just kind of think, well, that's not for me because I don't get that. And so it just kind of pushes. Now, this is how crazy this is. I am. In junior high school, which is middle school, for those who don't know. And I think it was like 7th grade, so we were like 12, 13. My best friend and I made up this code language, and it was a series of beeps. And we would do it in class. And we would, because our teachers always separated us because we were always in trouble and always talking. And so we had to figure out a way to communicate so we couldn't sit next to each other or pass notes. So we would sit there and actually talk to each other. Like I would sit there sort of with my hand over my neck, and no one ever heard us. And I swear to you that's true. I've even had her on this show because she was a city councilwoman at the time of the Oklahoma City bombing, and we did a show around the anniversary of that. But that was her. And I swear to everything I love, we would sit there and talk through class, and we tried to figure out why no one could hear us. And it's like, it was just like their ears were passing over it. It didn't compute for them. It was so funny. So I think that's the way a lot of things are. I said all that to say this, but that was a stupid story.
Oh, they thought you were R2D2.
Like Roadrunner. I don't know if you guys had Roadrunner cartoons in England, but that's what it was fashioned after, was the Roadrunner. Beep, beep. So, true story. I'm going to have to bring her on sometime to attest to that, so people won't think I'm just, well, people probably don't think I'm making it up because they kind of know me now. I've always been a little nutty. But anyhow, yeah, oh my goodness, we've got to take a break. We are going over. I'm so sorry. Bill, forgive me. Let's take a quick break, and when we get back, we got a big surprise. You guys know these guests that are coming up, but I know something you don't know. Stay in there with us. Meep, meep.
Hey members, the new KGRA-DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA-DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA-DB.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Welcome to the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. Here you'll find great new content, including the KGRA Classics, great shows from our archives. You'll be able to see the show times and information so you can see what show is currently on air. The on-air live button. So just go to this section and you'll be able to hear the show live with exceptional sound quality. We also have the vault section. Make sure to subscribe to get access to great content and special features. We have the make content for our latest news and events, so make sure to sign up and you can be part of our forum. So make sure to check out the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, the KGRADB.com. We look forward to seeing you there, and we hope that you enjoy the new website.
Welcome back to Night Vision. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Renee Barnett, along with our fabulous historian, James Martin. And we got a little surprise. We've got a couple of guests that are joining us. So let's just all come on here. So we have the very lovely and talented Carle.
This is everybody's swim, right?
Yes. And Thom Reed, of all people.
Yeah. Good to see you again. James.
What I know about these two that you guys don't know is that they have teamed up and are coming out with a brand new show on KGRA. So who wants to talk about it? Carole?
Thom? See, listen, this is going to work really well, right? Not like we're, hogging the microphone. Well, first of all, just like, first of all, Renee hornswoggled us into doing this last minute.
Right, I forgot to say. I did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just in her defense, but I mean, she has that way about her. She just, you can't turn her down. No, you really can't. And so, the deal is, this is all so brand newly born. And what is that thing? In this case, it was sprung full blown from the head of Bill Skywatcher to have Thom Reed partner up with me in this new show. And this is only, this is so new. It's newly hatched. Thom, what would you say? How many hours?
24.
Yeah. Okay, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So, he called me yesterday and he asked me if I wanted to do it. And I was like, well, I've done enough radio that I could do it. And I certainly could offer a lot. And he said, you're going to, team up with Carole. And Carole and I talked on the phone. I was like, yeah, let's do it. I mean, she's like high energy. We're on the same page. You want to have something, casual, very like happy hour, just everybody just talk and enjoy each other, not something uptight. And we came up with a great name like right away. And
this is Thom's name. Everybody, can we have a drum roll, please, for the name? All right. Yes.
Beep, 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 beep.
What is it?
Oh my God! I was giving it to you, Thom.
Take a slug of water.
The show is called
drum roll now.
The show is called Trickets. No, I really wanted Thom to say it because it's his baby. It's the title, and say it again.
We're going with Inner Space.
Inner Space. I like that.
Yeah, focus on a lot of the what's happening. There's a lot of change in the last few years. So rather than be just another show, kind of take this to another level. And so that's kind of having it. Well, maybe I know Story Musgrave real well. He grew up in my town. The astronaut. Yeah. So kind of go in that direction a little bit, and then of course, Carole wants to do some of the Sasquatch and stuff like that. So there are things like there are things that I know well. I know a lot. My father was a politician. I know politics. I know the disclosure stuff. But she has talents in another area, and she's more versed in things. So I think it's a good fit,
I think it's a really neat blend. And for anybody listening who does not know who Thom Reed we talked about this briefly, Renee, earlier. Let me see if I can get this to stay on my phone. Okay. All right. Thom's story seems to go something like this. This is from Unsolved Mysteries Wiki. So Thom, and of course you can jump in if you don't vet this, etc. On the evening of September 1st, 1969, an unexplained phenomenon occurred in Berkshire County, Massachusetts. Multiple witnesses reported seeing strange lights and experiencing other strange occurrences. Some witnesses reported being abducted and taken aboard a strange craft before being released. Others reported experiencing a phenomenon known as missing time. To this day, their experiences remain unexplained. And then it's a list of witnesses. But here's the real kicker. This is extra meaningful for me because when I was doing my news broadcasting show, UFO news headlines, paranormal update, et cetera, this was just breaking the fact that the governor of Massachusetts, well, Thom, I'll let you tell them what the governor of Massachusetts did.
Well, so what was not mentioned in Unsolved Mysteries was
Yes.
Everything. Did a better job. Ancient Aliens did a better job. Quite honestly, they did.
Really?
They kind of rebranded our case as the Birchers UFO. The truth of the matter is, our incident took place in 1969, 6 weeks after the moon landing. But what people don't realize is that our diner was like nestled in this little community surrounded by government manufacturing facilities that were working on the space race. Sprague Electric, that made the Goodwill message that was left on the moon July 20th, just 6 weeks prior, came from an employer, 20 minutes down the road from us. Mm-hmm. So when it was originally seen, this 1969 event, by over 250 people, went out on the radio, the whole bit, that talk took place in our diner. Because if you talked about it outside our diner, there was concern that somebody's brother, sister, relative could get fired because it was a secret space program.
Wow.
So that's why in Unsolved Mysteries, like, we never talked about it. No, you did. You just didn't talk about it in public under the fear that someone could lose their job. That's why our diner became this catalyst for everything that took place. And that's how our case ended up getting inducted as historically true, because we divided the community. Because there was fights and it was unbelievable. And my father, who was a politician and a lawyer, took this case through our family attorney, Robert Bletchman, to the UN. And matter of fact, Linda Morton Howe was there, State and Freedom was there. Do you remember GA 33426?
No.
It was first introduced in 1974.
If you have a few bars, I can try singing it. But
October 2nd, 1992.
Okay.
GA 33426 was introduced again by Robert Bletchman, who was the public relations director for MUFON at the time. We didn't know what MUFON was.
Is that a bill to Congress or something?
It was the idea of all our countries unifying their experiences and data to work on this subject together. And of course, it never went through.
Oh
but
my
what happened
gosh.
was, after that meeting at the UN, my father didn't actually go. We had a legally retained attorney that we gave a check to discuss it and make sure that he didn't say too much that could jeopardize my father's aspirations.
Right.
And so that was a legal contract. But he mentioned our case in support of Cash and Landerman and support of the Hudson River Valley sightings, because ours was over Housatonic, that was over the Hudson River, and they were only stone's throw away from each other, really, as far as the crow flies. So it went in support of that because there were so many witnesses that added credibility. Being that my father was a politician and a lawyer, they thought that was the pillar standing was going to help at that talk. Plus, my father and our family's New Yorkers. We're from Hollis, Queens, and Long Island. So the kicker was that on that same date, my father lost his life. And so out of respect for my father, because he was advocating the incident, the governor of Massachusetts and the Historical Society came together to pay tribute to my late father by giving us a marker that now became the monument, which now became a park because so many people supported it. But it all started out of respect for him. And the way to get it pushed through by the state and governor was to not say an abduction took place, or, it was that our diner was like Billy the Kid altered the railroad.
Right.
So our diner altered the natural progression of the community. And with my polygraph test and the witnesses, and this is interesting too, that a lot of the kids back in the day that ate in our diner, that heard the broadcast and saw things and drew those little sketches in school, they became bankers. They became historians. They became judges. Mm-hmm. So when it came to state justice, a lot of those people that were witnesses to our incident went to bat for my father. And so they said, well, how can we do this without looking, like we want to get reelected, obviously. So how do we do this in a way that it's going to, make sense? And they said, well, you altered the natural progression of the community. You passed your polygraph test. We've got archives. It's historically true. And that's how they passed it. That's how they got it pushed through. Now, with everything I just said and everything that's on my website, did Unsolved Mysteries mention one thing about that?
Yeah, no, not in this little this thing that is showing up on my phone. No, there are more details about the event itself, but not the recognition of the event. Right.
They contacted me back in 2015 after it got inducted because they wanted to do a show on that, because it wasn't a matter of, did something happen, but what was it we saw? And then as they came in and started talking to all these other witnesses, they decided to just add the witnesses and show the flight path, which no one's done before, so I'm grateful for that. Yeah. But they actually voided a written and binding contract with me.
So would you kind of share a little bit? I know you guys, I don't want to steal Carole's thunder.
No. Listen, it's not possible. I'll tell you, this man has just, I'm
not going to ask for a lot of details, but just a brief description of what that event was for you.
Huh? I'm sorry?
What that event was about for you. I mean, what did you witness? What did you?
Oh my God!
Just briefly, because I know you want to go into it on Inner Space, and I want everybody to tune in.
Sure.
Now, that show is going to air on Mondays, right, at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Is that right, Bill? Are you listening?
Of course he's listening. He wants to make sure we don't have full.
Okay, right.
It's going to be starting up soon, so you please watch the KGRA website. Of course, I'm going to blab it out as soon as I hear about it.
Oh, bless your heart, honey. That's so cool. Thank you.
Watch this space, and we'll let you know. Also, watch the website. Make sure you don't miss the premiere show, because I have a feeling it's going to be really good.
And of course, I will put it all over Facebook, and I know Thom has incredible plans and huge outreach. Oh my! So yeah.
You guys always share on my page.
Definitely. I will. Thank you.
Share it around. But so Thom, could you just
Thom,
like a thumbnail picture.
Okay, so to give you an idea, like the short version, we were driving through the Sheffield Covered Bridge. At the time, it was the oldest bridge in Massachusetts, anyway. And had the spaced out wooden planks on the bottom, and we were coming into it. My grandmother was the first one to notice that there was a bleed of light that looked like it was more light than it should have been for a couple headlights. I mean, this is 1969. It was very hot that night. We had the windows open. And as we came down the planks to go onto this very bumpy dirt road, potholes and the whole bit, it was about 9:15 September. It was Labor Day, too. That's why there were so many witnesses, by the way. People were outside having barbecues.
Right.
It was, people that didn't actually know each other. All these people saw it because it was a holiday.
Wow.
And nice night. So when we got down to the bottom of it, I was giving my brother one of those cinnamon fireballs. Mm-hmm. And I was giving him one, and my grandmother turned around to say, "Don't give him that. He could choke," because he was only 7 at the time.
Yeah.
And when she did, she saw this white sphere rise up from the banks of the Housatonic. Now, we never said it came out of the water. I don't know where it came from. But there was a bleed of light that came under the bridge moments before that. But when we saw the sphere, it was like a 2-watt bulb, but more like if you were to look at a cue ball from a pool table. It was solid like that. And it was about 4 times the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. And I know that because we had a Beetle. So, at the time. And I used to reference things by what I knew as a child, right? And so it rose up, and as we were going down this dirt road, maybe 10 miles an hour, I mean, it was like a road for like horse and buggy. It wasn't meant for cars. It was a really narrow dirt road. You couldn't pass each other. It was that narrow. That's why it was never really legally a road, because it was really unpassable. If 2 cars came, they would have had to back up a half a mile or so to get by each other. Right. So it was really a road for like fire trucks and that kind of thing too. A shortcut through cornfields and stuff. So as we came down the dirt road, my brother looked to the right of the car, and we saw a second sphere. And it had this roll to it. Like, it was orangey. It had a roll. It was smaller than the white one. But again, they were both over water. And so as we continued to go down the dirt road, my mother saw a spot where she could pull over near a telephone pole. So we pulled the car over. We kept it running. The lights were on. And we were looking out the window to see where that white sphere was that was on the driver's side. Right. And that's when this thing came into focus. It was like it was massive. It was like a turtle shell. It's how I remember it. It wasn't shiny silver. It looked like it had panels on it. Then I said it was lit up. You know, people say, "Oh, it had lights all over it." No, it wasn't lit up that way. The shell of it itself illuminated, but only really one side of it. I remember seeing the top right side put off like on top of it, like a sheen, like an amber. Melanie from Unsolved, who I knew her as a child, but I hadn't talked to her in like 50 years. She was the first one to say, "Yeah, it was like red." So the top front of it, which was facing our front of our car, was illuminated and given off enough light that you could make out the shell of it, which was like 100 yards. It was big. And it had like the middle of it was super fat. And so if you can, like the middle was like this, the top was like that, and the bottom was like that, but the center of it made up like 70% of the craft. It looked like a snake skin. It had like those weird lines in it. So I don't know if those lines were really there or if it was the light coming through, if it made that. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, we felt like we were underwater. And I say that because it was this tapping sound like stones hitting underneath our fender wall. You know, when you drive down a dirt road, maybe you're going slow.
Yes.
It was like that. And then all of a sudden, we felt, my mother says pressure. Remember in Unsolved, she goes, it was pressure. And it was like being underwater. And everything was like muted, but those sounds echoed. And then...
So do you feel like the atmosphere around you was like heavy?
I've been in a lot of hurricanes because I'm basically lived in Florida most of my life. And so, you know, in between a hurricane, you've got that barometric change in pressure, and all it's no sound, no wind. It's like
same thing with tornadoes.
It's almost surreal. Like you're not really in today's world. It's like all of a sudden you're like, what happened to life? Because you don't hear the breeze, you don't hear leaves, you don't hear a chirp, nothing.
Right.
No smell, flowers, no voices in the distance, no cars. It was like that. And all of a sudden the car lit up. Then I could see the dashboard, the back of my mother's hair, the radio. And I remember listening to the radio at the time because WSBS at the time had gotten on the radio because it was pre-recorded. But at that point, they had already gotten on the air and were asking people to call in if they saw something that was actually on the radio. But we didn't really connect it right then. We were fascinated by what we were seeing.
Right.
And so it was actually on. And all of a sudden, you know, it was like, bang, a flash, it lit up, and then bang, it was back to normal. All the crickets came to life, frogs, chirps. You could hear everything normal again. And that was the last thing we remember from the car.
Oh, my gosh.
And then the next morning, when we opened up the diner, this is like, we didn't realize like 2.5 hours had gone by. When we opened up the diner, we're sitting in the diner with all the school kids, right back to school. It was Tuesday. And all the kids were in there, and they're hearing all these people call in on the radio, like, that's my uncle, that's my sister, you know?
Oh, my God.
That sort of thing.
Wow.
And so these kids went to school, and they started sketching what they saw, and they were taping them to the chalkboard. And mine, actually, which I drew, is in Roswell. It's not the exact same one because I redid it. It was faded and everything. But what I originally sketched hangs in Roswell today.
Oh, in the museum?
So that's kind of what happened. I mean, there's more to it, but I don't want to take up your whole show.
In the museum?
Yeah,
in the museum in Roswell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
there it is. Thank you, Bill. Fantastic. Excellent.
Bill, you're awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
there's
he is amazing. There we go. Wow.
Yes.
And by the way, KGRA Radio actually has a solar light in my park.
Isn't that something?
Thanks to Bill. Yeah. Thank you to Bill.
A solar light, because there is no power, right, in the park itself?
Benches, Unsolved Mysteries donated money towards a bench, Travel Channel.
Right, as you can see, you know, it's
Ancient Aliens. Yeah, Ancient Aliens paid for the new entrance.
It's gorgeous, and it's hardly rugged. I mean, it's like, oh, wow.
And Bill was actually there. Bill was actually there the day it was installed by the brother of movie director Louis Murnau, who produced the movie Bats with Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yeah. I love that movie. That is just hilarious. Right.
I grew up with his brother.
Oh, wow. Is Tracy Nelson? I think she's also in that film.
Maybe.
Yeah. I love that movie. Anyway, so wow, that is a very cool thing.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted by Carly Simon behind you there, Thom.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good shot of her, by the way.
That was one of my favorite albums. So.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah. Hilarious. It's great.
Okay, back in the day.
So as far as sponsors go, I'll tell you who sponsors the park since we're on the topic of the park. Mike Barra, Ancient Aliens, Prometheus, or History Channel's Ancient Aliens paid for the entrance sign.
Wow.
Travis Walton, Ben Hansen, Travel Channel, Netflix, Unsolved Mysteries. And we just got BB King's daughter, Rita King. She's sponsoring the park along with the family of Stevie Ray Vaughan. I was just at their house.
So incredible.
In Dallas, Texas for 3 or 4 days. So Jimmy Vaughan, who was in the Fabulous Thunderbirds, I played his guitar in 1987.
Whoa.
In Hartford. When he was with the Fabulous Thunderbirds, and they were warming up for Brian Stetzler from the Stray Cats when they went solo. And I've been friends with the family ever since. Not so much Jimmy, but the family, the cousins and so on.
Yeah.
And so Tyrone Vaughan, which is Jimmy's son, is a friend of mine. And so Josh Knight, who's my booking agent, is part of the Vaughan family. So he talked to Jimmy and Tyrone, and they decided that they were going to put a plaque together with Rita King in memory of my late father, in memory of those we've loved and lost.
Oh.
So we're going to have the Vaughan family, BB King's family, and my family on a certain plaque.
That's beautiful.
Gosh.
So, the park is more than just like a landmark. It's become like we're trying to like bring people together. I mean, it's 1,000 miles away from where I live. It's a long ways. I know, right? It's a weird time. So
it is.
We've branded it. We've branded it the judgment-free, free to the public park.
Oh,
yay! We need that.
It's in memory of all those who are witnesses. That's it right there. Yep,
yeah. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my God.
Very
cool energy. Thank you, Bill.
Wow. Thanks, man.
Wow, thank you, Bill, for getting that on for us. That's fabulous. But oh my goodness, what an amazing story! And like I said, Thom, I don't know how our paths haven't crossed.
Yeah, it's about time, by golly.
Absolutely. I'm sure we know a million of the same people.
Good things come to those who wait.
Yes, that's true. That's
what
true.
Time is it?
It's time.
Yeah, it's time.
Exactly. Anyone have the time?
Yeah, listen, and kick us off whenever you want to.
There he is. Yeah, I've known this guy for a while.
Keeping it all
He's been
together.
very patient with me. He knows me well.
Yes. Bill is the glue that holds us all together.
Oh my God, yes.
Absolutely.
The Energizer Bunny as well.
Yeah. Now,
he never sleeps.
I've been.
He still has my guitar at his house. You got my guitar, Bill?
Well,
he still got my guitar over there. I left it at his house like 3 years ago.
Oh no. Probably on eBay. Okay.
That's it. That's my guitar, my 1980s Jet King. Thank you, Bill.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is hilarious. I love it.
That's funny. But anyway,
Backstage.
James, you've been noticeably quiet up there.
Yes, James. Hello. Nice to meet up with you.
I am muted. I didn't realize that. The producer really did a good job on that one.
Yeah.
But, wow.
Oh no.
But I'm trying to talk to you guys, and I'm like, why can't they hear me? But
isn't that funny?
Thom Reed has something in my home that we're waiting for the right moment to install.
Oh yes, I know what that is actually.
Now, Thom, you want to fill in everybody what's in my house that you're ready to put in and who it's dedicated to?
Well, first I have to ask you very quickly, I know this is so totally unprofessional. Bill, is that the thing that you showed in that iconic video with the ride home, and I won't mention names, from JFK Airport? Is that the object that was in the box?
Yeah, I know. This thing came in my house in these 3 huge boxes.
Oh,
and it weighs a ton.
Wow.
Well, let Thom can fill in the post.
Yes, please.
Was it the inflatable I left there?
No.
No. Oh, okay, I was going in a different direction. I'm sorry. So
mine's going 10 to the dozen.
Hello. Okay, so this is like super cool to me, okay? And I'm waiting for the right time because it has to be the right time. And Bill's going to play a big part in this. I think Mark D'Antonio is going to be part of it. So a friend of mine who knows Stanton Friedman's wife, or knew her very well, went out and purchased like this $7,000 to $8,000 outdoor telescope.
Mm.
And it's going to be installed in the park. He donated to the park in memory of Stanton Friedman.
Oh, wow.
And
that'll be fabulous for people.
Yeah, so it's white. It's beautiful. There's going to be a dedication to Stanton on it as well. Now, there's a couple of reasons we waited on that, because for a while there was some, this push and shove with the town, when the town actually installed the monument, and then he said I did it because the acting mayor didn't have the authority to do it when the mayor was on vacation. It was like, so they tried to come up with this easement issue.
Red tape stuff, yes.
Yeah, it was a mess. So with that said, there was some graffiti. There was, a little bit of tension in the town because I had gotten a lawyer. Bill actually went to this, the Superior Court building with me in Pittsfield. And so it got pretty rough for a while. And so I didn't want to put in a telescope of that value when this was an issue or a concern. I didn't want to have to do it or,
vandalize.
That's very wise. Yeah, that's wise.
Spray paint or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this year went really well. The select board member that was actually part of that whole issue was voted out of office. It's been, everything's cool now. So I think next on the anniversary of either Stanton's passing or the the incident with our family there, we're gonna have that installed, and Bill's had it for a while. I mean, it's been taking up some room in his house for a while, but it's big. This isn't a small thing. I mean, it's a beautiful telescope. Now,
it's like one of those that you see like at the the lookouts and things like.
It's bigger than that. No, it's like I think the lens alone is probably what.
It's more modern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's more modern.
Yeah.
It's,
like those big heavy things that are like mounted to the ground. Is that?
It is one of those. It is like that.
But it's more modern. It's sleek in design. It's long. It's not like those old ones that you have the two eyepieces that you look.
Right.
No, not like that.
Yeah. It was
observatory, Carole.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Griffith Park Observatory.
Yes, right. Griffith Park, right.
Weird.
Yeah. No, this is, as Bill put it, it's the streamlined, it's the new and improved.
Oh, that'll be fantastic.
And there's the inscription is on. There's a plaque with an inscription. Correct? Am I right about that, Bill?
There will be. I don't know. Did it have it on there?
Yes, it does.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Good.
Yeah, I've actually never seen it since it was packed and shipped. It was shipped. Oh, and this is great too. So I was actually with Bill in the Hudson River, I think, when we got the call that they purchased it.
Yes, we were on the cruise.
Oh my God.
We were on a cruise.
Yeah, that's right. And who was with us? Man, there was a lot of.
Oh my gosh, we had a big party here that was here for the Pine Bush UFO Fair. Right. But I know Charles. There was quite a bit. Amanda. There was a few people here with us.
Yeah.
So we got the call while we were out on the cruise.
That is fantastic.
And I'm like, Bill, you're not going to believe this. And so I put Bill on. I think I put you on the phone with Gary, who donated it, or whatever. And, it was just mind blowing. So I'll tell you how we got it. Ready for this? So it was actually leased by a hotel at Disney World, and it was on the roof to look out over the parks. And every couple of years they flip them. And so originally, I don't know, this thing had a big price tag, but because it was used, he went to the company that leased it and had it completely refurbished. It's, he asked me what color I wanted, the whole bit.
Oh, wow.
The lenses were all polished. So it's like brand new, but I think he got it for probably a third of what it would have run normally. And it was really nice of him to just to donate it in memory of Stanton. Now, this is why it's so important to me too, because Stanton actually played a part in our case getting inducted into the Roswell Museum.
I didn't know that. Wow.
There it is, everybody.
There it is. Yeah.
That's the base of it. Yep. Yeah. Okay. And so when our case got inducted by the Historical Society, Stanton actually held up the induction by his state, and that picture with our induction from the state, I'm going to try to get on that telescope as well.
Oh, that would be great.
So it ties him into the town and everything. Wow.
Yeah.
Bill, you took some. Oh, wow, Bill.
Excellent.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's fabulous. I know James bought himself a Christmas present of a new telescope. I don't think it's quite that big, but
No, I'm
very
just sat
cool.
here jealous. Here I am in France, desperately wanting to come and try this telescope. Yeah, that's absolutely incredible.
right. But the sad thing was we were going to break it out. You know, I was over in France for a couple months. Well, actually 6 weeks, I guess, or a little longer.
That's nice, is it?
Just recently with James, and we were doing, our research and expeditions and day trips over there. And we kept wanting to do the telescope at night. And I swear, every night it would rain, it would storm, cloudy, or we were busy. So we never really got a chance to even break it out. Is it still crated up, James?
Oh, no, I took it out for a spin.
Oh, I love that. That's hilarious. Where did you go? It's marvelous.
Uranus, I have to say.
Oh my God, too much.
No, we went to Mars. We then had a look at the Galilean moons of Jupiter. Had a look at Andromeda. Managed to see Saturn as well. It was one of those. The night was perfect.
Where did you place it?
So we were up nearby Rennes-le-Château.
Oh, okay.
Off a dirt track heading towards Rennes-le-Ban. And it was perfect because I not a cloud in the sky, but 80 miles away, you could just make out a little bit of lightning over Andorra.
Andorra.
So yeah, it's
all the way to Spain.
All the way to Spain, where it was raining. But it's
because, as we know, the rain in Spain. Yes. Okay. All right.
Well, it does fall mainly in the plane.
I'm going to bail and not take anybody else's more time here. But Inner Space coming soon, Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a 1-hour show, and it should be a lot of fun and informative and entertaining.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite, Bill. I mean that sincerely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great rest of your show.
Really terrific. Oh, Bill, thank you. Bless your heart, babe.
No,
okay. All right. So
on the road here, and you always have you guys, Carole. Do you have a paranormal experience of your own that you'd like to tell us about, or we're sharing stories?
Well, see, here's the thing. Thom, did you tell me we were on the phone so long yesterday and we covered this tremendous amount of ground. Am I correct in remembering that you told me you had a paranormal experience, a ghosty kind of experience in your house?
Yeah, lots of them.
Yes. Okay. Because, and the family's been there for generations, correct?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, your family's had the house for generations, this particular house. No, but the one with the events in it?
Oh my God, they had that. Yeah. So want me to fill them in on that? Because I don't want to. You haven't said a word yet, really, and I'm like rambling. You're the talker.
Well, no, but listen. Hey, Halloween approaches, and I want everybody to get to know you too. So some of them may be sort of like, her again or not. I don't know.
So this is how confusing or like this mixed bag of everything that hit me when I was younger, and so we had this UFO experience. So many people saw it. It was like our diner we were just getting pummeled in every different direction, right? So my parents decide it's time to leave the state of Massachusetts and move to Connecticut. Because my father wanted to run for office. He wasn't going to get elected there. The whole bit. We sold our farm, our diner, and we just left. And so the house that my family decided to buy was the estate where Peter Riley and Barbara Gibbons, the death in Canaan, remember that? That was the house we bought. So and so they bought this estate.
And they had to disclose, right? You knew when you bought it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I met Peter. I had a couple beers with Peter. Anyway, so Peter Riley's house was a cottage, which used to be a post office. It was a small converted post office that they rented on this 4-acre spot of land with an apple orchard, a barn where we used to keep our antique cars, and then we had the house. So because of the death and all that took place, my parents bought it for a song. They got it cheap. And so my grandmother started, and she was, when this happened with the UFO event, my grandmother was the one that was most traumatized by it. She really was. Her bothered her the most. And so she started seeing like figures in the kitchen, you know, like of a person, a man. And it wasn't until, I don't know, maybe a couple of months later after we had it that we decided to clear out the cottage. And the minute I walked in there, it was, I was like nauseating, you know, I couldn't be in there. And then I don't know why, but I'd walk through the house and I'd walk through, it'd get like a cold spot and there would be no more cold, like 10 feet later. And my brother got into a car accident. I got into a car accident. A lot of negative things happened. And then 10 years ago to the month, there was another murder, you know, right in front of the cottage, and the media came down, the newspapers came down.
Wow.
And, it was just, got to a point where, you know, we were hearing things, negative things were happening to us. So we actually demolished that cottage and put dirt and planted a rose garden on top of it in memory of Barbara Gibbons. And ever since then, I've had these like, even in the house I'm here right now, against the wall, I would see a smudge at times go right across the wall at night, no shadows, no sun coming in, nothing. And at one point, a worker had left the tool belt on the back patio and came back, called me like 8 or 9 o'clock at night to come get his tool belt. He needed it the following day. And he walked in the front door, and that as soon as I saw that smudge, he says, he shut the door, he slammed it because he thought a cat was going to get out. So he saw it too. Oh. And so it's not just like I see these things. A lot of people do. I had my girlfriend upstairs for a while, and, you know, we're hanging out watching TV, and I thought my son had came in because we heard footsteps going up the stairs. So I went to just shut the bedroom door, you know, out of respect for everybody. And I looked out. There,
Especially your kids. You don't want to
my son was a teenager. And so, you know, so I shut the door and I looked down the staircase. There's nobody there. So I go down the stairs and the front door's still locked. Now, you know, Steve Pierce, who was in the truck, was
yes,
Travis.
Right.
Well, he was, you know.
Is this somebody with Travis? And
yes, he was in the truck that night. Right, yeah.
Yeah. So Steve called me and wanted to say, hey, when do you want to hang out or something? I said, sure, you come visit. So Steve Pierce lived at my house for a couple of months. And he got so shaken by some of this stuff, the things he was hearing and stuff, he left. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it has to do with the UFO event. I don't know if it has to do with living at the home where Barbara Gibbons, you know, was slain. Or did something actually open up when I was younger, you know, because of the incident? And then I was more acceptable to what happened and why I felt it so strongly, but so did my family. Well, I mean, the Warrens, I actually met Ed and Lorraine Warren. They're from Connecticut. They actually came to our house at one point, and they stayed in the driveway.
Well, Thom, just on that, I mean, for example, I mean, we were having a discussion, Mia and I, the other night around pineal activity and, you know, the pineal gland and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not going to bore
not
if you want the biology.
There's one right behind you, Thom, on your TV screen right now.
What timing, right?
Wow.
It's almost as if I was prompted.
Hilarious.
But,
on the show with Renee, and you're never going to guess what came on the TV.
and we just end up talking about a pineal gland. But it was this, we were talking about, I think, Egyptians, ancient Egyptians undertaking brain surgery and cosmetic surgery, etc. But it was just something you said then, which is certainly true for me. I used to see a family at the foot of my bed most evenings, staring at me. And my a mum, a dad, and 2 sons, and my brother, who ended up occupying the room after I left, saw the same thing. And here's the thing: just back to the pineal gland. I tend to focus quite a bit on magnetic reception. I mean, we all have biofields, etc., and we integrate and interact with magnetic fields. And if you're not with me on that argument, honeybees and animals, go look at it.
Neurons, everything's electric.
I think we have the ability to tone down, because I know that very deliberately up until
And tune up.
really and tune up, because in the past few years I've deliberately tuned down because I didn't want to see things at home, but have begun tuning back up again. I'm not really sure how, other than just willing, I suppose. It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, but the same, that happens. I think we've been tuned down to begin with, our race in general. But I think there are certain things that open up and stimulate our neurons and get things firing faster. And I'll tell you something else that I'm saying in line with where you're going. And a friend, this had to be 5 or 6 years ago, had brought over this wooden board. And on the board, it had like these little air ventilation systems like you find on a air hockey table. So it blew air up through these holes in this, like thousands of little mini holes in this wood plank. And on the plank, there were like these little, like you see in a football field, the goals all over the top of this board. And put this thing on our head first, which was like it amplified the neurons in your head. You know about this? Yeah. So this was like one that was used at a testing facility. And so they're like, Thom, can you move the ping pong ball? And they dropped it over the center of this board with all this little air just holding the ping pong ball at a certain level. And I'm sitting there trying to move it, and I couldn't do a damn thing. I couldn't get the thing to do anything. And they said, don't try. Don't think about it. Just will it. And I actually, by the end of that night, which was like an hour and a half later, I was able to control that ping pong ball anywhere I wanted it to go over this board. And we all sat around. We were, pounding rum and cokes, all trying to do it, relax our minds, chill out, anything we could to get this thing to work. And we were all able to do it by the end of the night.
Wow.
So it was like we had to focus our energy on our willing and get all that energy focused on one thing, but not so much that you strain. It was kind of like you let go and don't think of anything and just go through the pole. And it did. So we do have, and now actually there's a game, I think it's Hasbro has it for kids, which is the Star Wars.
Yeah, yes, right.
A toned down version of the adult version.
Yeah.
Which what I tried. So you can actually buy them today for kids. And it just amplifies your neurons. And basically it just, it's like a repeater. It takes your neurons and punches it up. And so it puts out this, I don't know really how that actually works, but you can
ping those neurons, ping.
Feel it. You can almost feel like a static or something. That's really unique.
Wow.
And so to go with what you're saying about this magnetic energy and that kind of thing, we have the ability to pump it up. And when you do, I think that comes into play with, twins feeling each other and, being able to know what happens. And like if I'm walking down the street, I can tell if someone's behind me that shouldn't be.
The Rupert, the area of Rupert Sheldrake. Yeah, and the sense of being stared at. Yes, right.
Mm-hmm. Right, you walk into a room, this person gives you a bad vibe. So we just got to find a way to amplify it. I think our bodies can do it. I don't think we know how yet, but I think some of us have the ability, unwillingly do it.
There's two things to say with this. I mean, if you found yourself on your phone, and I've watched people do this, and they go on the phone and then end the phone call and go, "Why am I stood in the garden?" It's because you've been interrupted. Your normal spatial awareness is gone. And we were talking as well, around the medieval period just the other night. And I said, well, you've got to bear in mind, if you're living, you're John the Muck Shoveler in the medieval period, you are so attuned. It is dark. You look at the skies. You look at, the outside in a very different way to the way that we do today, which namely because our outdoors are lit and all of this. But the thing is, when I started to have a look at the sort of history of the paranormal, there are thousands of anecdotes of mass sightings not
Yeah.
individual sightings, but thousands of anecdotes of mass sightings. And I think that if you're attuned to spot differences, you know, we were talking about the telescope before. Galileo was using basically a telescope as powerful as my glasses,
Yeah.
and managed to see the Galilean moons and what have you. You know, but that's the attune. But you know, you have a look at things like this at Nuremberg.
Yes.
You know, this is a depiction from the
Yes,
press.
I was thinking about that. Yeah.
And it's not just that. A few years later, you know, there are other examples. For example, again, what's going on in around the Nuremberg area in Germany. But here you've got these depictions. If you're used to looking at the sky and spotting the differences, you know, seeing what's moving and what's not, then you are going to report it. No, it's not different, in my view, to any other paranormal activity, ghosts or anything like that. It's just a case of listening. It's a case of, you know, using other senses, you know, that extra sense that we have. And the more we do it,
see things a lot when we're not in tune or not even thinking about it. I mean, we're thinking about, and I agree with you, but I mean, on the other side of this too, I mean, I've noticed things like, and I'm not even considering what I'm seeing or thinking I'm going to hear this either sometimes. And so would you agree that there's also sometimes like maybe a door that's open and, you know, unwillingly too. So I think being someone like yourself that might, you know, look for things too, and you're aware on top of that, if you've also got a door that's open, my God, it's no longer sporadic. You're actually living that. It becomes part of you.
It's a flow, right?
It's very much like that. You know, people have that first experience, that first, you know, like I say family.
They never shut the door all the way.
I don't think the door can ever really truly be shut.
Wow.
I think it's just it's open
Permanently.
And the thing is, when you have a paranormal experience, it electrifies all of your emotions too. Fear, love, warmth, you name it. Everything goes into shock, essentially. And I think that process is one of the key ones that opens that door.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's become my favorite Martin.
My favorite Martin.
My
Yes.
favorite Martin.
And
You
it's
know
amazing.
You know what he's referring to, James?
No.
There's an old TV show here. I guess it was the 60s or something, and it was called My Favorite Martian.
Yeah.
With Bill Bixby and Ray Walston as the Martian.
Thank you, honey.
Yes, yeah, you're welcome. Oh no, I'm starting to hear the theme music. Yeah,
Also, so he changed it.
and of
to
course
My
it was a
Favorite
comedy.
Martian.
Yes, it was a comedy.
Yeah, it was fun. My Favorite Martian. You'll have to look it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've got something up.
Yes. Yeah.
Although we didn't have any fun programs in Britain. I mean, it's all just serious. You know.
Yeah. A pity. It's a pity. Well, you know, I
know that's not true. What was
there's no humor comes from your country. You know?
cartoons.
Is there a really good show on that you could recommend that I could find on YouTube or something that you watch or something I might not get here?
A comedy show or a documentary.
Something you watch.
Something that I watch. Satire. Have I got news for you?
Satire?
Oh, have I got news for you? That's a great title.
Absolutely superb. If you're after real belly laugh, anything starring Frankie Boyle.
Frankie Boyle. And but what about your your more related watching? You watch a lot of documentary series. Also, there's some good paranormal stuff that goes on in England that we may not be aware of, but we could probably get at least on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're looking at paranormal documentaries or TV series, there's a show called Most Haunted. I have. There's also some older. If you're after, let me tell you this. When I was on a Friday, I used to stop with my grandma, and
when he says stop, he means stay. Okay.
Yes. I got. Listen. I've been watching Midsummer Murders. Midsummer Murders series. I've learned a lot. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Carole, don't ever move there. It's a bit like Murder, She Wrote. If you see Angela Lansbury wandering in town, leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I will note. Thank you so much. Okay.
Cheap property in Midsummer, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, really cheap.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, wow.
But on a Friday, there was a TV series that was on at 8:00, and it was called Strange But True. And it was just a series of ghost stories. And I think then at 8:30, there was sightings with Tim White from the US.
We had sightings. Yes,
So-
right.
Made that. Okay.
Oh, we made Strange But True as well. But honestly, some of the stories from both shows meant that no one went to sleep on a Friday in Britain, I think.
Whoa! Wow!
So those you can probably find on YouTube then.
You absolutely
put them on right now.
Honestly, it's astonishing what's on YouTube. It is really, the classic classic UFO movies, right? Even though they're fiction, are fascinating. And what Hollywood did with early history, I mean, early British history. Oh, James, I'm so sorry. That's all I can say is we really deeply apologize, but we got a lot of stuff wrong.
But yeah, they do have a lot of good TV. Also, I don't know if you're interested in history, Thom, but there's a lot of good British historical documentaries and things like that.
My mom is hooked on it. My mom watches all the Britcoms and everything. She loves that. Yeah. So I was thinking of maybe a good show that I could, since she's into the Brit stuff, maybe he could refer, something, that she might.
Oh, how about something historical for Thom's mom?
Something historical? Well, other than, I was going to say absolutely.
Well, you used to love Time Travelers.
Okay.
There's a unique program, I think, in the world, and they tried to introduce it into the US. I don't think it worked too much, but it's called Time Team.
Oh, Time Team, that's what it is.
That's it. And
wow.
Time Team, and it was hosted by Tony Robinson, and
not Tony Robinson, not Tony Robbins from the Self-Help, but Tony Robinson, a British TV personality who's been on TV for years.
Tony Robbins is the really tall one, isn't he? Anyway, that's Tony Robinson definitely isn't, but we've got keeping up appearances from the chat room. Yes, that too.
Oh my God, keeping up appearances.
Time Team was around a group of archaeologists digging things up from the ground, and as much as it sounds dull, it's addictive. Must-watch TV. Uncovering bits of history. It's just absolutely fantastic. So
it's glary.
Time Team.
Yeah.
And I have to say, getting my hands muddy in the field in that way as well.
Yeah.
Great program.
Stricken when that show stopped creating new editions there, but it's all there on YouTube, and they do have some really good shows.
I found it.
Yay!
We are running right down to the end here almost.
Oh my gosh, we took up all your time.
I know, but before I forget, James, do you remember when we did the Arthurian show, and I had the recording of the piece? That was Carole.
Oh, wow.
Did that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God. Listen, I just enjoyed the heck out of that, Renee. Thank you so much. It was great.
I promised to do something for us for Halloween. So
Well, I'll see what I can do. But no, something better than that. Not that. Whatever.
That was too good. That was
Amazing.
too good.
I played that for everyone. And
Oh my God! Did you?
Bill
Well-
called it, played it for Eric, and said, "That's Carole.
That's
Carole."
damn. That's so nice. Wow. Well, I was so delighted to find it. What was it again? It was an Arthurian work. It was a work rather famous thing. You would know, James, and it escapes my mind. But as Renee.
Mallory?
Yes, that's what it was. And
Oh,
the funniest thing, my grown son came out because he still has in his old room. He's got a bunch of books that are mainly his, and it was so funny, Renee. I forgot to tell you this part, but it was kind of like the day I did that. He here's this book on my kitchen table. He had come out to see us, and it was like, well, where did this? And he said, oh, it was on my shelf. He had no idea that I'd done that, so it was a little bit of synchronicity. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have a very important question from the chat.
Yes.
Benjamin would like to know, how many ounces is that mug, James?
Oh.
Ben, if you've seen me before, I always carry it. I can't say how many ounces are in it, but I can say I have cut down to 1 cup of coffee a day.
You can do that. Wow. Oh, that is an awesome
what I
mug.
can say is that when I was there, I was the only one who ever made fresh coffee, because those Brits are into instant coffee.
Sanka. Oh, no.
Oh, Sanka? Instant coffee. Oh,
but I would make fresh coffee, and the pot, that cup would hold the whole pot. So then I'd have to make another pot so that I could actually have some.
Yeah.
So I know it's a lot.
Is it cold before he finishes that, James?
Just how I like it, yes.
It's got to be. It's got to be.
We start the show, and it's warm, boiling, and right now it's more like an iced coffee.
I love it. Wow.
Pacing yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got mine sitting on one of those little heating pads, and
oh yeah,
we're all coffee drinkers, I guess, huh?
I know. Well, I certainly am. Yeah. Don't have any at the moment because I'll be up all night.
I go through about 2 pots a day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Keeps me going.
But anyway, I'm really looking forward to you premiering your show.
Well, and you're going to have to stop by and say howdy. And James, that welcome extends to you to stop by and say howdy. And maybe you can, maybe we can again do this whole thing. And we've got an hour. We've already filled an hour, so we know we can do it.
Yeah.
Can I just very quickly wish? I absolutely would love to wish you all the best of luck with it. I think you're going to be absolutely great. You'll be looking forward to it.
Thank you, James. That really means a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. And we'll be here next week with a brand new show. And we will keep you posted on Carole and Thom and Inner Space. Thanks, everybody. Stay safe. Take care.